We want to say something really basic and really central to all of you. I'm going to be gentle with you by asking a prodding question that you should refuse to answer. How'd you get to the point of not trusting yourself? How'd you get to the point of not even knowing you have a guidance system? How'd you get to the point of not trusting that if it feels good, it is, and if it feels bad, it's not so good? The answer to that question is you put others first. You put their response first. You cared more about their response to you and what you were doing than you cared to your own response to what you're doing. That's why until we can convince you that you've got to be more selfish and care about how you feel, we can't find a beginning place for you in all of this. We cannot start with a topic like food or even money, where you have so many habits of thought about it. We can't get to a pure place easily about that. So you got to find a way of getting so general, and meditation is the easiest way to get general that we know. And we'll just keep saying to you, we want you to care about how you feel. So after a little while, all of these things begin fitting together. As we say, you get what you think about, and how you feel really matters. And you want to follow the path of least resistance. And you want to be less conditional in your approach to life. And after a while, you start catching yourself being conditional. And you start catching yourself in the middle of a belief that you've honed that doesn't serve you. And you can usually tell it. This is the thing that is the most interesting. There are two ways to know when you are moving in the direction of who you really are and what you know. One is just let it play out into a condition that amplifies it bigger. So sometimes you'll be in a conversation with someone who's railing on and on about something, and you'll feel such annoyance, and you'll say, oh, it's happening now. Right now, I can feel this is resistance, it's happening now. But usually at that point, you can't really do that much about it because the momentum is already such, and so you're just going to have the conversation, and hopefully they'll get tired and go away soon. There are two ways of knowing whether you are moving in the direction of what your inner being knows, which is really what following your guidance is, or whether you're pandering to somebody else's. One is how it's playing out, which we just described, and the other is how it feels. So what we wish for all of you is that you get so sensitive that you catch it in the early subtle stages, that you become less willing to endure the offness of your own thoughts. Because really, it isn't that anybody else is introducing resistance into your equation. They're just amplifying the resistance that you've already got going. So if somebody's annoying you, it's not that they are the condition that needs to be eliminated. It's that they represent, you have attracted them to you by the mix of vibration that you've got going on. So it's very helpful to say, thank you very much for pointing out something that's active in me that makes me not feel good, that is causing me to not feel good. We're happy that you heard that in all the ways that we meant it. So do you create your own reality? Yes. Are you a vibrational being? Yes. Do you have emotion that tells you something? Yes. Is it guidance? Yes. What is it guidance about? It is guidance about the relativity between what? Who you're being and who you really are. Where you are and all that you really want. So the path between where you are and all that you really want, that's the path, and you're always on it. Can't get off it because you are where you are. Write that down. That's important. You are where you are. You are where you are. You are where you are. You're always where you are. You are where you are. And you're either turned in the direction of where you want to be or in opposition to where you want to be. And your emotions let you know which you're doing. You ever started out feeling pretty good and then you get engaged in something, you feel worse and worse and worse? Can't you just tell that you're moving in the wrong direction? So what keeps you from just getting up and doing something about that? Why don't you just move toward what feels better to you? What's the answer to that? What's the answer? Why don't I always move toward what feels best for me? Somebody else is involved. Somebody else is involved, and I'm trying to please them more than I'm trying to please me. And so much of the world would say, well, Abraham, you teach selfishness. And we say, you bet we do. We teach it with everything that we've got, because if you're not willing to follow yourself on your path of most allowance, then you have nothing consistently to give to anyone else anyway. And don't you know it? Because they never get enough of you. They never get enough from you. Don't you notice that? They always need you to be just a little different than you are so that they can feel a little better. They're looking for love in all the wrong places. They're looking for love in the wrong places. And it's conditional, isn't it? So, is this harsh or is it freeing?
It's freeing.
Is it problematic or is it liberating?
Liberating.
Is it harder to do or is it easier to do?
Easier.
Does it take some practice? Yes. Will some old beliefs fall by the wayside? Yes. Will you get feeling better and better? Yes. Does it become easier and easier? Yes. Does the momentum of alignment carry you further and further? Yes. So what is it? What's the manifestation that you really want? Happy. What's the manifestation? What do you want? To be happy? No, I mean, what do you want? To be happy. No, I mean, what do you want? To be happy. Where do you want to live? I don't care as long as I'm happy. Well, don't you want to mate? No, I just want to be happy. Well, all you want is to be happy? Yeah, happy. You don't care about eating? Yeah, that makes me happy. You don't care about money? That makes me happy too. You don't care about travel? Yeah, that makes me happy. But I care about happy. I care about happy. I care about the way I feel. Well, why are you so hung up on the way you feel? Because everything else follows that. And because I can get there in a minute. I can't get that car in the garage, or that person in the bed, or that empire established. I can't do that today. But I can get happy now. I can get happy now because I have the tools. Because I can meditate the unhappiness away. Because I can distract myself from the frequencies that prevent me from being there. Because I can clean up my path by tripping over it and saying, enough of that. By becoming more determined, by becoming more specific, by becoming more deliberate, by becoming more deliberate. What do you mean? You mean you think harder? No, I care about how I feel more. How I feel is what inspires me to the journal. How I want to feel is what inspires me to what I choose to eat today. How I feel determines which way I turn in the hallway and who I run into. And how much time I spend visiting here and here and here and here and here. I care about how I feel. I care about how I feel. I care about how I feel. Well, don't you care about how I feel? Actually, yes. Life has caused me to really care about how you feel. I've put a version of all of you, we're speaking from your point of view, I have put a version of you in my vortex. But when I look at you, I usually can't find that version. Because you are demonstrating conditions that don't match my version of you. Well, what's your version of me? They'll ask you. You're happy. You're happy, and you're eager, and you're alive, and you're vital, and you know who you are. You're loving life. So everything I'm about is so that I can rendezvous with that version of you. So if it feels like I'm avoiding the condition of you for a while, understand that it's because I do care. It makes me happy to know you're happy. And when I look at you not happy, that's a condition I can't control. So then my observation of what I don't want perpetuates the very thing I don't want. Don't you love knowing this? Doesn't it make everything that you've ever seen in this entire life make sense? Doesn't it explain every relationship you've ever had? Doesn't it explain what's going on in the Middle East? Doesn't it explain what's going on with the economy? Doesn't it explain what's going on in every subject that you can conjure? It explains everything. Law of attraction is afoot, and billions of people offering vibrations, and law of attraction putting them together for co-creative enhancement of individual offerings. So you say to your friends, I really like hanging around you because you reflect what I'm outputting. Oh, you really like being with me? Not always. You reflect the best of me and you reflect the worst of me because you reflect what I've got going on. So the more you begin to like your friends, the more you'll know you've cleaned up your own vibration. So you get credit for everything good they are. Because you're rendezvousing with who they are based upon what you've got going on vibrationally, you see. Doesn't it make it all feel simpler? Don't you just want to kind of stop talking about it? Click. Did we get there?
Absolutely.
Really good.
Thank you.